After a couple of years of marriage, I want to say maybe close to 2 years we were married, Becky became pregnant and with our son, Michael. And, we talked about having more kids, but it just wasn't happening. So 5 years later, the twins come, Angel and Ashley, my baby girls. We thought it was over. We thought we weren't going to have any more kids. And then all of a sudden, two. And what a journey. Needless to say, many sleepless nights. But my Becky was so awesome. She's an awesome mom, so we got through it.
Mike, his relationship with his father was challenged. And so his goal has always been to be what he believed he needed. So he's been like laser focused on his children, being there for them, being available to them. I call us good cop, bad cop. And while he is a cop, he was always the good cop. They could always go to him, and they probably would prefer to go to him because I was the tougher one, as it related to parenting. I couldn't have a babysitter until they were old enough to talk, because wherever they went, he wanted them to be able to come home and tell him what their experience was so that he could decide whether or not they couldn't stay with our parents until they were old enough to say, I like being at grandma's or I didn't, but I get it, and so we just worked it that way. Our kids never went to babysitters. We worked 2 different shifts so that I would be home with them in the day, at night, and then he would be home with them during the day. While I went to work, he watched them. While he was at work, I watched him for years. That's why it was a no-brainer that he was going to coach Mike. I don't think there's a coach that he really trusted with his son. And so he wanted to be right there to make sure that his boy was well taken care of, because he was that hands-on.
You would think with him being a successful coach that he would kind of be like an absent dad, and that's total opposite. I mean, he was every cheerleading competition we had, every school event, he was always there. Now, a lot of our life was surrounded around basketball, but he was very involved, very home every night. He has a great sense of humor, so he's funny,
protective.
Yeah, so
he's an amazing dad. I mean, we are daddy's girls, so we can talk about him for hours.
And his daughters are. I have to remind him that I'm the queen, they're the princesses. Sometimes he get that look mixed up. They queens. No, bruh. I'm the only queen, they the princess.
I had my own hoop dreams. I often laugh about my dad, with my dad, because I told him if he focused more on me and on my brother that I could have won league, and we laugh about it all the time. But growing up, it was just basketball. Like I said, I grew up in a basketball family, so I would watch all the games. We had rivalries. I never was a Laker fan. He always was. I was a Mike Bibby fan. That was my favorite player. So Sacramento Kings. So we have our rivalries, but it was always fun. I think more of it too is I knew the game, and I also think I saw how much attention my brother got from my dad through the game. And I now that I'm older, I think about it. I wasn't gonna go to league. I wasn't that great, but I knew that was a connector. I think it was definitely a way to spend more time with my dad. He was gonna be in the gym regardless, so why not pick up a ball and do it?
I think I've left 3 jobs, and because of not like real major reasons, not because it never was because I got fired, but because I didn't like the environment, or I felt like folks weren't treating me right, or I didn't agree with the organization. And I never was we need money, or you can't do this to me. He was always, I remember I left a position, and he said, I don't care if we gotta live in a car. He said, I'm riding with you. And that was like, whoa, you know, he's always encouraged me. I'm gonna make him cry. He's always had my back. He always has told me that I could be more. He's always believed in me. I've always been there. Always. We've had our issues, you know, growing pains, but you could not ask for a better partner, because no matter what, and even when he messes up, he owns it, and he redeems himself. Always. He always goes above and beyond to make sure that thing is behind us, and that he's different. He's moved forward.
I would love for people to remember the man he was, the man of God he was, and his integrity. Just doing the right thing no matter what, and just always being by the book. He was a man of God, flat out. There was no other way around it.
Yeah, I think the same, that he did it the right way. And I think that he was able to have so much success, but he did it the right way. And I think that's the message that I would want everybody to remember. He did it the right way.
And how humble he was.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be the center of attention. He's not going to toot his own horn. And he's going to just be humble about it and give God the glory no matter what.
Yeah.
Vacation was basketball tournament.
Right.
We went to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Kona Island. Remember that?
Price had a tournament out there they were playing in, so that was the first time we got to go to Hawaii. But it was centered around
Vegas all the time.
Yeah.
But most of our family trips were centered around
our mom would just make sure that we did something fun, but yeah, everything was
basketball tournaments.
Which is cool. You got to go see a lot of places, but it was always surrounded by basketball.
Yeah.
We were forbidden to brag on anything. I couldn't, go to people and say, my son was state player of the year. My son's stats were this. I could never, do that, because he said God will acknowledge us. We don't have to do that for ourselves, and so he wouldn't even do it for himself. In fact, after the games, when the reporters would come to him, Mike would start preaching. And I remember one reporter was like, okay about that. We want to know about the game. And Mike was like, this is the game. If it wasn't for God, and he would do his whole faith message. Mike is a landscaper. I don't think everybody knows. People would call him a gardener, but Mike landscapes. People literally pull up to our house and stop. And I've seen people taking pictures. It's really kind of weird. But, as a police officer, he said that putting his hands in the soil was his therapy. And but what he has transformed, every property that we've ever had, he just turns it into this thing of beauty. He's just magnificent outside with a landscape. So I don't think people know that this guy that's staring down the refs, that he's this that he can make a flower grow and just do it really well.
My dad loves R&B music. I mean, his favorite song is Cupid by 112, and I think it was because Diamonds. We had a road trip to Memphis, was it? And him and Andre Hazel Jr. played that song the entire trip over and over again. So that's his favorite song. And R&B, he knows every. We have concerts all the time. He is the R&B. He'll send us songs that I haven't heard yet that just came out. I'm like, Dad, how do you even know this? He loves music. He loves jazz, but R&B that's kind of our thing together. We can have full concerts at home.
One thing that I don't think many people know is that he's a really funny guy. I think people see him more as when he's coaching, he's real serious and focused, but he's really, really a funny guy that cracks jokes all the time, says crazy stuff, and always is down for a laugh. So Coach Lynch he's funny.
My grandkids, two of them, Michael and little Matthew. Just awesome little guys. Mike now is 11 years old, and he's a basketball junkie. He's taken right in after Grandpa and his father, and very good little ball player too. Has a chance to be really good. Keeps working, and little Matthew. Initially, I didn't think he would have the basketball bug because he was doing so many different things: soccer, t-ball. He's into karate and just all kind of different things. And but as of late, he's catching that basketball bug. I watched him make his first basket, and how excited he was. And since then, now he believes that he's actually better than his older brother. So sports-wise, they're all in, but they're also very intelligent, smart little guys, doing very well in school. And you got a tremendous family, so I am very excited about my grandkids' futures.
I think getting players to the next level is my dad's. I think that's his next passion. I think that's his next career, because I think he sees how hard these kids work, and everybody's not going to make it to the Big Ten. They're not going to make it, but there are great players that can help a school become successful. So I can remember my dad. Not only was he helping his players, but he would get calls from other coaches to help get their players into school. And I think he has this niche for putting together a package, making sure the player shows their very best at what they can bring to a team.
I want to give my heart, my passion, my time rather, to my nonprofit, Coach Is. It's been in existence since 2015, but I haven't given it the attention that it needs. Somewhere along the line in my coaching journey, helping young men get into college to fulfill their dreams became a major part of why I was doing what I was doing. And I was passionate about helping these guys. I actually enjoyed, after season, the strategy of helping them find the right level and right college for them. And so with a Coach Is, I'll be able to really help not only my ball players now, but the plan is to help as many as I can reach their dreams. And that's one aspect of a Coach Is. What's also in my heart is mentoring young coaches. Because for me, that title of coach, it's a calling. And if you're coaching and don't understand that you've been called to mentor these young men and help them grow into manhood, then you're really just coaching for yourself. So I want to make sure that I can mentor as many young coaches as possible and help as many young men as possible with their dreams.
If you know Mike, he would tell you he wasn't always a man of God.
Church was just a regular part of my life, but it wasn't like that for Mike.
But then there came a point when he had mentioned to me that he had gave his life to the Lord, and he was dead serious. And he was dead serious about it. And there was nothing you could dangle in front of him that was going to take the place of the Lord in his life. It was important to him, and he meant it.
Becky was going to church, and I started going. And it wasn't too long after that I realized, man, I need this in my life. And so we ended up at Crenshaw Christian Center under the leadership of Apostle Dr. Price. And it just kind of took off from there. He was exactly who I needed in my life at that time. As not only my pastor, but a mentor. I ended up working at the church, so I had some very close contact with him. And oftentimes we'd even be able to talk one-on-one. And so I just I watched his life, and I heard the message, the faith message, blew up inside of me. And been living my life by faith ever since.
Mike Lynch, to me, is a consummate Christian man, a true man of God, someone who's loyal, someone who's faithful, being in the 1%, top 1% of humankind in terms of he's just good people.
His pre-game prayers is something that still sticks with me to this day. And I just remember there was always a routine that he went through. It was always never just about winning. It was always just God's will be done, whatever that looks like. It was always about safety for both teams. He ended it with the same thing all the time: praise, glory, and honor for what he had done, what he is doing now, and what he will do in the future. And like my prayers now, I still carry those same kind of, three things.
He literally is the priest of our household. He's the leader spiritually in every aspect. He leads our family. His relationship with God is none other. I mean, I am very much aware that Jesus is first in his life in every aspect. And I'm 100% for that. That's the only person I'll take a back seat to.
Of all the achievements Mike has had as a coach, I don't remember 2 times when we talked about whether I was congratulating him or what, that he didn't give glory to God. He wasn't deflecting the praise. He wasn't brushing it off. It wasn't false modesty. It's all God. And I don't know if it meant God made the shots go in the basket, but it meant more believing God for who he is and trying to do things the right way has helped guide me to help teach these kids.
This game of basketball is something that I've loved from a little bitty boy and to this very day. But with these young men, basketball, coaching is like, for me, it's my purpose. So in that purpose is far more than championships, wins. It's helping these young men understand how they can be successful by faith in life, period. So whether you played ball after high school, college, pros, whatever, it doesn't matter. There's young men that have gone on to be doctors, athletic directors, whatever it is. Faith is going to play a part in that. And so that's the message that I've been pushing from day one, that with faith, all things are possible.
Falling in love with Jesus. Falling in love with Jesus. Falling in love with Jesus was the best thing I've ever done. In his arms I feel protected. In his arms, never disconnected. In his arms, I feel protected. There's no place I'd rather be. Falling in love with Jesus. Falling in love with Jesus. Falling in love with Jesus was the best thing I've ever done. In his arms I feel protected. In his arms, never disconnected. In his arms I feel protected. There's no place I'd rather be. Falling in love with Jesus. Falling in love. Falling in love with Jesus. Falling in love. Falling in love with Jesus was the best thing I've ever done. Oh, the best thing was the best thing I've ever done. Was the best thing